All right, we are back with another coaching episode. I'm not actually sure what league this is, so we're gonna have to take a guess. Your guess is as good as mine. We are watching from the Zerg's perspective. This is a ZvT. And apparently, from what I was told, he opened up with a gamble with going 9 roaches. It didn't work, and then he got himself into a position where he felt the game was up. If it didn't work, it's likely the case. You're probably not wrong, but let's see what else he did wrong. We got camera hockeys going, so I'd probably say this is at least diamond. Setting them up is half the battle. Let's just see if he uses them or not, though. That's a pro gamer move. Okay, so we're 17 hatching. Meanwhile, what is our opponent doing? He is actually using the camera hotkeys. I'll give him that. So, Rax Gas. Nyasum. $18 gas, 17 pool. Everything looks stock standard right now. I have no issues. Your opener's solid. The only problem I have is, where exactly is this fucking Overlord going? It's rallying back and forth. What do you do? Looking for a Reaper? Man, you'll know when the Reaper's there. It's not the biggest deal. This Overlord right here has to be scouting for proxies. This one's going across the map. If he was 4-gating you or 2-gating you or anything like that, it'd likely be over here, but it could also be here. This Overlord, the whole purpose of this Overlord is to find it so you can prevent it. So I have no fucking clue. That dude's just on a patrol smoke break. Don't like it. Okay, we have Larva, and we're also banking 300 minerals. Where's our Overlord at 19? We're gonna get supply blocked. Yes, we are. Okay, a bit of an early scout. You're not going to see anything. You're going to see the presence of a Rax. That's to be expected. And sending it in this early, instead of making an instant reactor, he might just make a Marine and pick it away. You're just not going to see anything. Like, the optimal time to go in for scouting is like 3 minutes to 3:30. That way you'll actually see tech or deviants from the normal, yada, yada, yada. So we're just exposing our Overlord a little bit early. And we're going to hit that supply block because we forgot to make an Overlord. There we go. It's late as hell, but it's coming. And we're going into an immediate Roach Warren. Skipping Ling Speed altogether, I guess. Even if we're going Roaches, we need to get Ling Speed because you can't reinforce Roaches, especially if you're going to open up with aggression like this, with more Roaches. Because we don't have Roach Speed, we have no creep. They're going to take forever and a day to get to his side of the map. So we reinforce them with speed links. So we absolutely can't skip Ling Speed. Just waiting to see. I mean, Queens are in decent position. You're denying the scout. Oh, sorry. Did he see the Roach Warren? No, he has no fucking clue. But he's going for a blind bunker, which kind of sucks. Is he going to see it here? Yep.
Command center upgrade.
All right,
complete.
let's see how he reacts. It sucks when they scout the Roach Warren really early if you're going to do something like this, which is why I honestly never open up with any sort of like real Roach aggression. Because they're just going to make a Banshee. And you know, it just shuts it down. Yeah, there goes the tech lab. So we're on a timer. And by the time we get to this side of the map, the bunker is going to delay us enough that that Banshee will pop. Yep, there comes the Banshee. He's denying our third. I don't really like turning around the Roach. We're on such a timer right now. That Ravager's gonna get sniped for absolutely free. Ravagers have good range. You can keep them in the middle or the back of the pack of Roaches. Roaches are way beefier than Ravagers. We don't want to just give them up. Like, that was 75 gas down the tubes. It landed a bile that's going to be repaired, so no damage done. Okay, we really don't have the gas. Okay, we're at least getting another gas geyser to go into a Baneling nest. Like, we have nothing. We don't even have things. Okay, it is going. So I'm going to take a pause here. We got fuck all done with those Roaches, like you said. Nyasum. We are at 38 drones to his 33 SCVs, but he has mules, so we're really not that far ahead, believe me. Gas income doesn't really matter right now. We're just taking a second gas. What do we lose? Borlings and Ravager. Like, we could have lost more. At least we kept the Roaches alive. That's definitely something, but we're not ahead in this game. Our third is unbelievably late. We're incredibly low on drones right now. We, like, at the 5-minute mark, realistically, you could be at, like, if you're playing greedy, you could be upwards of 60 by now, but in a normal standard game, probably 45, 50 plus. So we're very far down. We do have a decent queen count. Like, we at least have the 3, so we've got one spreading some creep, getting ready to do some injects. How much energy? This queen has an inject queued, no energy. Has enough energy for an inject queued. Like, behind it, we're making the best of it, but we've put ourselves in a bad position. Very bad. In my personal opinion, the best way to get out of something like this is to just gamble yourself and drone like a maniac and hope that he leaves you alone. Because if we're going to play super defensive, we aren't the ones in an economic position where we can afford to play super defensive. Every unit we make right now is one less drone that we have, which is a big fucking deal. So we kind of just have to hope. Like I said, we kept those Roaches alive. We can use those for defense, which if we lost those Roaches, we'd be in a much, much worse position. But at least we have them. We have the queens. Just drone. That's all I want to see is drones, drones, drones. We can kind of pause droning once we're around like 55-ish, and then we can kind of evaluate where we're at, see what's coming our way, see if we need to make units. Ooh, we lost a couple there, but that's okay. Let's slow it back down. Okay, so we are now at the 6-minute mark. We got fuck all done with our Roaches, and we have not scouted our opponent whatsoever. This Overlord, yeah, it's sitting on the perfect pillar. You might be able to see the move out, but Terrans are always going to get that goddamn Overlord. You can sometimes leave it there a little bit longer in ZvP because unless they have a Warp Prism or an Observer or they go Stargate or something, they might not find it. But Terrans always will because they're going to get a Medevac or a Viking or something and they will absolutely find it. So this Overlord's role should have been like 2 minutes ago to go in here, sacrifice itself. Oh, sorry. And die to see what's going on. We don't know if it's mech, we don't know if it's bio. So we've got 4 Raxes, we've got a 3rd CC. Like, he's going, like, he's just playing a macro game, man. Army supply, like, Roaches are just shitty for army supply, so it's inflated. He's definitely ahead. We're playing blind. I get that we were behind, that our early aggression didn't work. At least we only lost the 1, but that was sloppy. We have no idea what our opponent's doing. What are we producing right now? At least we're producing drones. We're getting melee, which I like, but we're committing to Ling Bane right now with no idea that he's going bio. For all we know, this dude could be going mech, and he's going to show up with a bunch of blue flame hellbats and some tanks, and we're going to kick ourselves in the ass. We don't know. Well, we are getting lucky, and he is going bio, so it is going to pay off. This is not great. So we're at the 7 minutes. We have no fourth. Typically, your fourth goes down around 5 minutes 30, 6 minutes. Like that's a normal timing. Do we have to saturate it immediately? No, but we do need the production. We're going into the mid game. We have 3 hatch production. We don't have a macro hatch. Our larva is limited. We're not saturating our mineral lines very well. Like we got 2 in every gas geyser, and we don't have fully saturated or oversaturated on minerals.
Drones are under attack.
I mean, we have the 8 roaches. I wouldn't mind just seeing roach speed because we have them. Do we only have 1 Evo? We do. I hate 1 Evo in ZvT. I fucking hate 1 Evo. It's just... The only time I ever do 1 Evo in ZvT specifically is like if I'm gonna bait and bust them. And I might get +1. Carapace is infinitely important in ZvT. It's not as important in ZvP for the reason that Protoss units do a lot of damage and they're just naturally tanky. So our units are likely to die quickly anyway, so we just want to get as much damage done as possible. Carapace is so important in ZvT, especially when you're playing Ling Bane, because we need the Banelings to survive long enough to have a chance of connecting. Without Carapace, Banelings get sniped so much easier, especially after the nerf to their health. Like, they can just get picked off before they're ever going to get a chance to connect. So we need Carapace and we need melee, so we have to go double Evo. And like we're on 5 gases, we can afford it. Okay, I don't hate the macro hatch, but we're not floating a ton, and we still don't have a 4th down. Like, we should just be getting a 4th. Why? Oh, what are we doing with this? We're quite sloppy at the drone moving. Okay, creep spread's sufficient. It's doing the trick. It's not great by any means, but it's doing the trick. Another pro gamer move, when we're playing Ling Bane, we need to be able to open up as many pathways as possible because we never, ever, ever want to take a one direction front on attack. We always want to get the surround. That is the extent of Ling Bane micro for beginners. Yeah, there's lots of advanced things you can do, but the bread and butter of Ling Bane micro is coming in from multiple angles and getting us around and swarming them so that there's no place that they can safely retreat. That's Ling Bane 101. These rocks are not broken. We have a bunch of Lings that are just chilling idle. These rocks, especially, I mean, it's always map dependent. Like, okay, these rocks, they should be broken. It helps a lot because they can get a tank behind it and it makes it annoying and there's a choke. But are these rocks as important as these rocks? No. Like, these rocks are infinitely more important because we need to be able, like, this is just a giant path. If he sieges up here, we have to run here and then go all the way around. It doesn't work. We break these rocks, we open up another flow. Like, it's just another floodgate that we can open. So breaking down rocks, Terran want to keep them up, especially if they're going to play a tank-based composition. We don't. We need to break them down. Okay. So, let's just look at this from your point of view. We are now well into the mid-game. We have zero fucking clue or concern, apparently, what our opponent is doing. We still cannot confirm if this is bio or mech. The only drop we saw was a handful of Marines, and a mech player is still going to make a handful of Marines. We just don't know. We've done no harassment, no Ling run-bys or anything. Like, we are at 73 workers. We're at the point we survived. So when you said this game became an unwinnable game after that attack, if he had countered, yeah, it would have been. But he gave you every goddamn opportunity to get back in this game, and you did. So from here on out, this is your game to lose.
The Hive cluster is under attack. The Hive cluster is under attack.
So, pro gamer move. One of our overlords should always be sitting. It's not like a specific one. It's not like your third overlord yet. No, like, just, we're in the mid game. One of our fucking overlords needs to be sitting just around our base so we can scout these drops coming in. Or we can have a Ling deselected chilling there. Just anything to give us vision so that this doesn't happen.
Metamorphosis complete.
I mean, we're taking some losses, but it's nothing terrible. Like, look, we've been very good in terms of losses, honestly. Random spore and 17,000 creep timbers queued up. Okay, we're getting Hydralisk speed. What are we doing this with our workers? Okay, for future reference, if we're gonna put workers back in, you can click on the gas, shift, click on the gas, shift, whatever. But you know what's easier so that we can actually keep mineral income going, which is really, really important? Click on the minerals, then shift click down to 6, gas, rather than having every drone that we have heading towards a gas geyser not mining. It just send them to the minerals first. And look, we still didn't even do it right. What are we doing?
Our forces are under attack. Drones are under attack.
Yeah, we're not even looking. We're just stacking that. I mean, whatever.
The hive cluster is under attack.
Okay, let's take a quick upgrade look. We have +1 melee, no carapace in sight. We finally do have a second evo coming. Like, why can't we saturate our bases? What is so hard about saturating? Rocks still aren't broken. You put yourself into an unwinnable position, my man. Like, this is, for all intents and purposes, you're not that far behind. Like, this is essentially even.
Mineral field depleted.
Okay. Let's pause. You're at 100 drones. 100. Now, can we play Zerg versus Terran with 100 drones? Absolutely. But there is a massive playstyle change that needs to occur when we're at an obnoxious amount of drones. I always say if people are going to play this with this many drones, you need to look at guys like Raynor. Because when Raynor plays ZvT, I've seen him go up to 110 plus drones. It's obnoxious. But you have to remember, at 110 drones, you have 90 army supply. So with 90 army supply, can you afford to turtle? No, because anything that moves across the map, yeah, you're triple out mining your opponent likely, but you have nothing to defend yourself. 90 army supply is nothing. So when you're playing with 100 drones, you need to be trading out constantly. And you can afford to be a little bit inefficient. Frankly, you can afford to be a lot inefficient. As long as you're getting some damage done, some value, you just need to be throwing units at your opponent's face if we're going to play with this many drones, because we can't afford to allow him to get a big old 140 army supply pushed across the map, because he's going to win. We're kind of just turtling on 100 drones, and I don't like it.
Our forces are under attack.
We're well into the mid game. We've made no attempts to go to our opponent's side of the map. Just none. We don't care. We're not going.
Mineral field depleted. Our drones are under attack.
Okay, these losses are really starting to stack up. I honestly don't hate the fact that we're losing drones right now, because you needed to get rid of them. I would love to have seen them turn into spores or something useful, but you know, at least they're going. Our second Evo finished. We're still not getting another upgrade. We have no carapace, which is so important.
Our drones are under attack.
Look at the saturations. Look at the mineral lines, man.
Cluster is under attack.
At least we got to cancel there. He's got 2-2. Actually, he doesn't. He's got 1-2. That's a little weird. Oh, no! What the flying fuck was that? Look, in a perfect world, we want to prevent the siege up from happening. if we can prevent the siege up from happening, we can always get a much better engagement. But it happened. So what are we doing? We're F2A moving everything we fucking have. Everything. And we're going to come in from one position and one position only, which is exactly what I said is the last thing we want to do. And look at the Baneling connects. Okay, Lingbane Micro 101. First off, like I said, come in from multiple angles. Because if we had Lings and Banes coming in from down here, and a couple up here, a couple to here, the Marines can't retreat anywhere safely. And the tanks, they split their shots. Rather than all the tanks being able to fire in one centralized location and maximize splash damage, if we have some Lings running in down here, this tank's shooting down here. And then as they get closer, this tank's shooting here, but this tank's shooting here, and this tank's shooting up here. They aren't able to get that critical damage. They're still going to hurt, don't get me wrong, but the splash damage won't be nearly as big. Then, pro gamer move. A move with your units, control click your Banelings, and don't A move with them. We want, the core of our damage here is the Banelings, and we want them to connect on the Marines. So while the rest of our army is running in, they can, like our Lings and Roaches and Hydras, they can fucking die. But our Banelings need to connect to kill the Marines. If we can delete the Marines, we're fine. So, control click your Banelings while everything else is attack moving, and we're manually controlling them, trying to connect to the Marines. Look where all of your Banelings go. Directly under the tanks, getting zero value. Why? Because they were aiming. Not a single Baneling connected with a Marine. Why is the game volume so goddamn loud? A second. Still no effort. Like we're still on a solid drone count. We just took it in the ass. We have a lot of money. Why are we not harassing our opponent? What? Again, we're fucking with our drones.
Is under attack.
Look at all the Lings we have. You don't think we could afford to send like 12 of them across the map? I bet you, without even looking, before I even look, I bet you he's got at least one base that is completely undefended right now. He's got an unsieged tanks, nothing here. He's got a planetary there with nothing. Enough Banelings can blow that up, or just a couple Banelings running by. If we were able to slip into the main, he doesn't even have a goddamn wall, so we could get a run by here. Everything he has is rallied across the map or on our side of the map. If we counterattacked, we could get some serious damage done. But we're not. I don't know why. Rocks still aren't broken. Hey, we're gonna break them. So what's our transition from Lingbane Hydra? Lingbane Hydra Lurker, going into Hive and getting Vipers. Where is our Hive? Nowhere near. Do we even have an infestation? We do, but we have nowhere near a Hive, and it is 12 minutes. Our Hive should be done by now. Hives typically start around like 9 minutes. 9 to 10 minutes is a good window of opportunity to start. Hive is infinitely important in ZvT because, if nothing else, Vipers. Vipers allow us to get the best trades that we possibly can. Never underestimate the value of Vipers. All of our Banelings. Oh my good god, dude. Okay. Every one of our units. Well, I mean, we got a couple here, but all of our Banelings coming in from the worst angle I have ever seen. The tiniest choke point where there's no Marines. They're going to take maximum splash damage. They have no carapace. They're going to get fucking deleted for nothing. How many Banelings do we have here? 30 Banelings. Gone. But we didn't deal with the bio. Hydras can't fight bio straight up. They just can't. We killed the tanks. That's something. We stopped the push in an incredibly expensive way. This is not efficient. Okay, we attempted to come in from a few different angles. Okay, that's something. We got some decent banging connects there. I mean, it's gonna get cleaned up, but that was better than what I've seen so far. I'm happy with that. That's something.
Mineral field depleted. Mineral field depleted. The hive cluster is under attack.
Okay. Oh, we're back up to an obnoxious amount of drones. We don't have enough bases for the drones we have right now. We're just oversaturated. So I don't want to see this many drones anymore. I need to see you cut down. I'd like to see you cut down to like 70. Like, let's just look at the losses here really quick. Zergs are always going to be ahead in a normal game in losses if they're using banelings and lings and stuff because they die, they're fragile. But we're starting to really pull from that acceptable losses to like, this is critical, this adds up. And if you've ever played an hour-long game and it literally comes down to the war of attrition and who traded more efficiently, you're going to lose. Okay, so when we know our opponent's here and he's planning to set something up, we need to do the exact same thing. We need to pre-move our units. We need to have some over here, so that when he pulls the trigger and goes, we can pull the trigger and come in from multiple angles.
Mineral field depleted.
Another pro gamer move, if you're ever struggling, I don't know if you struggle in ZvT or not, but when they're setting this up, especially a bio player, and I'm assuming this is Diamond, all of his attention is going to be on this attack because a couple good baneling connects and the game's over. So he's focusing like mad on his Marines right now. Do you know how easy it would be to just shift deselect a handful of lings and do run-bys? Like, you're splitting his attention, and then that way, when you actually take the engagement, he's got to think a couple times. You have to think, your opponent is multi-prong dropping you, and he's forcing you to multitask. He's forcing you to be in a position where you have to perform multiple things at once to stay alive in the game. But he doesn't have to do that. He can focus on one thing at a time because we have done zero harassment to him. We are essentially saying, hey man, do what you want, fuck with me as much as you want, I'm gonna leave you alone. We chased him so far back off of creep. We took a fight we didn't need to take. We pushed him back. That was a win right there. We didn't need to actually trade. But we chased him off of creep through tanks while he was kiting us backwards. We lost all of our units in a fight we didn't need to take because our economy was not being pressured. And now it's GG. We have 90 drones. How many? We have 26 larvae. I mean, that's a start, but do we realistically think we're going to get anything out in time? He's just going to push it into the game right now. We had no tier 3 transition. We had nothing. We don't even have tier 2.5. Like, we don't have lurkers. We don't have vipers. We don't have ultras. We don't have broods. We were content on playing Lingmane Hydra into the late game. We are in the late game now. We just can't. There's no infestors, there's no support units. We're just Hydra Lingmane with zero harassment. Okay, we do have an Ultralisk Cavern, but it's too little too late. The strength of Ultralisks, obviously, yeah, they're cleave against Marines, but the real strength in Ultralisks is how much armor they have, how beefy they are. But we don't have +3 Carapace. We don't need, like, we're getting adrenal glands, but like, we spent the last remaining money we have on 3 ultras. Are 3 ultras gonna save us here? No. Just the losses. It's just, it's getting out of hand. We've lost 201 lings. I'm surprised we only lost 40 banelings, to be honest. This is a deadly position, because now he can take all of your tech with him. You're not getting back up that ramp. Decent marine splits from him. I mean, he's still going to take a lot of damage, but it doesn't even matter. He can play as sloppy as he wants right now. It's his game. GG. So what can we do to improve? Well, for starters, we need to harass. We need to scout. We need to be active on the map. Then, we need to learn how to trade with Ling Bane. If this is how you play Ling Bane, I'm not surprised if you have a bad win rate versus Terran. If this is something that's difficult, it is difficult. If it's something that you're struggling to pull off, I would highly suggest playing Roach Hydra then. Because Roach Hydra, you can afford to be a little bit more sloppy. It doesn't take as much micro. Is it as efficient as good? No. But it's definitely easier to play. We need to come in from multiple angles. We need to be harassing. I would love to see pro gamer move. All of your hotkeys, make an extra one. I don't care if you use 1 through fucking 8, whatever, then use 9. Find an extra army hotkey every single time the opponent is coming to attack you. I want you to hit that army hotkey, and I want there to be like 12 to 20 zerglings on that hotkey, separated from your main army, and I want you to blindly A-move them to his side of the map. You don't need to micro them. You don't need to pay attention to them, because they will get a little bit of damage done. Hopefully, you know, a little bit more than a little bit of damage, but more importantly, you're forcing his attention to be split. That was an absolutely winnable game. Hopefully this helps. You know, I say everything I say with love. Good luck, have fun, take care, man. Good luck with your ladder sessions.